All right, folks, welcome back to the Cabbage Coins podcast. I'm really excited about this episode today. I have one of my friends, one of the contacts I've made in this industry. Has really kind of been an exciting experience meeting John McGrath out of Charleston Rare Coins. I think, John, I talked to you on the phone for the first time. I remember I was doing a road trip down to the fun show. I was passing through Charleston, South Carolina, and I think I saw like a coin on eBay, and I was like, this is a fantastic coin. Oh, they happen to be in Charleston. This is really kind of alongside my road trip. So why don't I try to stop in and get a chance to talk? I don't think our schedules kind of worked out and matched up, but we chatted for the first time. And then that's why I found your website, and I was like, this guy has got incredible, amazing coins, like huge coins, like huge coins. We've been talking for a while about doing a podcast episode. So very excited to have you on, John. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Charleston Rare Coins and what got you into being a coin dealer, and kind of just wherever you want to about your background here.
Sure. Well, again, we are in Charleston. We're recording from Charleston, South Carolina on Broad Street. This is actually a home office. It's a historic home. You should come visit at some point in time. And this is Oliver in the background. He's my coin assistant. He's not the best grader in the world, but he does help me. And you know how we came to be is like a lot of us. I was a coin collector, and I was your local coin hustler in the neighborhood, and was trading. I remember 9 and 10 years old, and I was buying and selling coins. And it's funny, you and I were talking just before the podcast for a second, and that is, I'm not sure you're able to see it.
I could see it from here.
This is a 1955 Ben Franklin that I bought for $5 it's my first dealer purchase. Okay. And I actually got this graded. I didn't think I was going to ever grade this, but I finally got it graded this year, and I keep it when I travel. I have my first coin that I bought from a dealer. And not like a lot of people, my grandmother owned a fruit and vegetable stand, and then they had a bar. Okay. And this is in the 1940s. And so they gave me, when I was young, Mercury dimes and the Morgan dollars, and every birthday, every holiday, that's what they gave me. And I'm the one in the family that really gravitated towards this. And that's what I started collecting. And I've been in business since I was very young. I think most people know, I'm the CEO of a family office. I started with Taco Bell years ago. I still own a lot of Taco Bells here in the Southeast and real estate. And I finally fired myself from those businesses, and I'm doing what I love now. And I'm spending most of the time in the coin business. So I'm basically a kid again. And Hunter Hicks, I got the pleasure of working with Hunter, and Hunter is working with us now, and we got a couple other great people.
Yeah, and just for folks out there, we're about to get into some crazy coins. We have got some amazing stuff to show everybody. This is all stuff that's in John's inventory today. These are all coins that you could go on to Charleston Rare Coins and actually purchase. We're going to talk through a lot of them, but before we do that, I got my little shotgun question here for you. So, if someone walked into your office today with a checkbook and said, "Find me the best $500,000 coin in America," what would you show them and why?
Easy. It's the Disney.
Okay.
The half diz. The Continental Dollar, unfortunately, which was a myth, that was our first coin, has now been shown basically to be a German token. And exactly. You should read a little bit more about Dave McCarthy, who works at Kagan's, who's one of the finest pneumatists that I know, did a lot of that background research. And the coin I would recommend to sell that's very expensive would be, if you have one, those I'd be Xing out of. But I believe that these have the most upside, and these are, I think, if you're going to spend $500,000, this would be your next $1 million coin. It would be my guess.
My understanding is that the story behind this stuff is that I think Thomas Jefferson, I think it was Thomas Jefferson, that he donated a lot of silver, like his own silverware, from his estate to the mint to be melted down in order to make these coins. And it's called a half dismy or half deem, depending on how you want to pronounce it.
Yep, deem is French, and we enunciated dismy.
And basically this coin this is like a half dime. So this was worth 5 cents, and this was one of the very first earliest circulating coins that we use. And there's kind of, I think it's arguable to say that almost every one of these probably was handled by Thomas Jefferson at the time that they were made, possibly. And anyways, today these are extremely rare, extremely exceptionally rare. So this is a 1792 half deem or half dismy, and this is an MS64. And we can just show everybody what the reverse looks like here. By the way, let me go back to the obverse. This, you might look at this and think like somebody's having a really bad hair day and is standing in front of like a huge gust of wind. This is actually Lady Liberty, right? I think
it is. And in fact, what you would think of it, where you're pointing like in the hair that is wear,
it's just a strike issue.
They do believe that these were hand hammered. And so originally this coin and the vast majority of them were graded AU. And they thought they were circulated. And what they realized, I think after a certain population said, oh, wait a minute, they are uncirculated. And a lot of the AUs became MSs. And so it was a very interesting story. And again, whether it was Thomas Jefferson's actual silver, I think they actually say he brought down $75 worth of silver.
Okay.
And again, and then had to have been made and put in his hands, and he distributed them. And then they did find out that it was one of the early acts of Congress to have these made, and they were used. I think it was basically America's first coin.
Yeah. United States of America, and we got the representation here of the eagle, and I believe the front of it here, something of liberty and industry, libertas paribus of it. Who knows? I'm just making stuff up right now. So moving on to this one then. So this is, we have about 9 coins to show everybody, and I have them basically ordered by, historical date or date kind of order. So moving into the 1795 50 cents MS63. This is, again, Lady Liberty. This one is also referred to as a flowing hair design. I don't know if I would call this flowing hair as much as, I don't know, bad hair. I'm not too sure what. Bad hair day. Yeah, bad hair day, and kind of receding hairline a little bit too, or not so much, I guess. But anyways,
I like it. I like the look. I like the look of the $50 and the dollar, and some people don't like it.
Okay.
I also love the small eagles, and most people don't. So
I call this the turkey. Yeah, the turkey image.
This one is a little the neck's a little too curved on this. I prefer. I think we might look at on this like a 1796. They changed it a little bit, and so that the small eagles I do prefer over large eagles. And I love the coin. I love an untouched original surface, which is difficult to find.
Well, this one definitely has a lot of originality to it. There's no doubt about that.
It was probably clean, but we're talking about it's been cleaned more than 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And this,
you can barely see any kind of signs of that.
And this is where in this level of coin, the grader is so important, because I don't care. I've been looking at the stuff for 50 years. If you don't have at least 3 sets of eyes, for example, this was an NGC coin, and was an NGC 6.2 that we found.
Oh, wow.
And so now, obviously not only did it cross, but upgraded. And so that's not me that searched this out. That was, it was when you have a great grader and you have a great set of eyes, people need, and like me, when I'm collecting for my own collection, what we want is certainty, grade certainty. and you don't want, the worst thing, early on, some of the coins that I thought were rare that I picked up maybe 30 years ago and I thought looked good, you go in and you send in to Albanese and it comes back, said, sorry, there's tooling on the back, which I didn't see, or it was, it takes years and years, to learn this, and it's fine to make it's, if you can make an error on a $200 coin, but when you're dealing with a $500,000 coin, I've seen some painful errors. I've seen very wealthy people in something in grade holders where things get missed, and it ends up being a details coin, and people paid $250,000 for something that ends up in details holder.
I do want to ask you, or I just want to make a point about this. So right here, if you zoom in, it looks like there's a little bit of a little bit of a rim ding, we would call this. But when it comes to this, I don't know, on a Morgan dollar, an 81S Morgan dollar, where there's so many of them, that might be enough to say that this coin has a little bit of you could call it damage. On a 1795 half dollar, this is what we would call market acceptable, basically. So there's ever so slight, a little bit of an effect of it being, I don't know, banging around in a bag of coins or dropped in some capacity, has got a little bit of smoothness right there. But that, especially on a coin of such historical importance, overall, it's obviously, it's a nice mint state, choice quality coin here for the stated grade. This is what we would call this to be completely, fully, market acceptable. I like this coin quite a bit. Moving on to another, 1700s coin that you have right now in your inventory. This is a CAC graded coin. You could talk a little bit about what your opinions are of that grading service. You just mentioned a lot of, PCGS plus a CAC sticker, but I know myself, I've got like a couple of my best coins are actually CAC graded coins that I have. I got an 89cc 8053 CAC that I think is one of the most gorgeous coins that I own right now, and that's a CAC graded holder. What's your thoughts about the grading service and the quality of the product that they're turning out?
I think this is, first of all, this is my favorite coin right now, and I was lucky enough that I bought this directly from John Albanese. This is my private collection. It's not for sale. And it is completely original. It's what we consider a discovery coin. And I think I sent you a text of, some of the history on it. It was on their website. And again, we're going to do a little bit more research on it, but we do believe that this was a presentation coin that went through
Gotcha.
a governor and a signer of the Declaration actually presented this, and I hope to write a little article about it. But again, you can see the originality.
Yes, the quality of the strike
of this. And your original question is about CAC-G. I'm seeing the finest coins coming out of CAC-G, and for grade certainty, I'm finding some of the best quality coins coming out of CAC-G right now. I have tremendous confidence. You remember, three guys are looking at it. We visited. I was up. I took a large group of coins. Hunter and I, Hicks. We flew up to Virginia, and I actually went in. They were kind enough to. We went through their operation, and looked at their, all the grading room. And Albanese was in there grading with two other guys. So when you're talking about grade certainty, and you have three of some of the best graders in the world, and basically they're doing consensus, call it a 3 thumbs up. Now you are going to, and they're I would call it conservatively grading.
Sure. They're very conservatively grading, yeah.
And I'm very comfortable. And this week for the first time, I sent raw coins into them. For the first week, I think a lot. The only thing that customers, the registry customers, guys who are collecting on registry and are like, I want all of my everything in a PCGS or
Because they're
OGH
competing in
holder.
register, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't personally do that myself, but I get it. And so some people don't like the CACG holders and it doesn't fit. I think over time that's going to resolve itself.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I think that the encapsulation of your answer and a huge testament to this grading service is just when I asked you about this coin, your first response was, this is actually my personal coin. This is for my personal collection. This is not for sale. So you have a dealer here with a huge inventory of some of the most amazing coins that I've ever seen. And the coin that he's keeping for himself is actually in a CAC graded holder. So I think it tells you a little bit about the quality or what we think about the grading service. I personally love what they're doing. I love the certainty that I have in being able to hold one of the coins and saying that this is a premium example of a 62 plus that I have right here. It's in this great kind of airtight holder that is impossible to crack out. So the one thing is, of course, the registry. And once the registry on CAC's website really gets going, I think you're going to see coins in these holders carry a considerable premium in the market. I do.
I agree. I completely concur with you. And even though it's not for sale, everyone can see these. At every show, I go ahead and carry maybe a dozen of my personal coins, which are tremendous coins. And if you happen to be in Chicago, I'll have this with me. And I don't believe these things are meant to be in a safe. You want other numatists and people to enjoy and take a look at the coins.
You mean not in a safety deposit box or someplace where you can't access it? Yeah, that's what you mean. Yeah,
that's correct. And it is a hassle. Believe me, part of what is an issue is moving this type of as you know, you move this type of material. We're using Brinks and Melka, and we have we have to have security with us at time. And I'm lucky enough not to. I don't really worry about. I don't have to really worry about that. And we do have a security guard at every show. But it's worth
posted up. Yep.
I will tell you what, Tony. You want to see people that are just so excited to see a coin that is exceptionally rare. And if anyone wants to handle the Disney, or I have sitting here the 1776 CC, a couple of these coins. I think our next one is the best of two. It is like this is one of two. It's top pop.
Yeah.
And if you want to hold amazing history, that's what I get a kick out of.
Sure.
You have a 15-year-old young numatist, or these guys. You're able to pull it out and let them practice grade and look at it.
I do want to move on here to the $1796. So this is I think you told me this is tied for finest known. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's one of two.
Okay. Yep, tied for. So there's one other. This is a $1796 bust dollar, and we got the small eagle. This time, I think the strike is really good on the small eagle.
Right.
Got the full beak and the little I don't know what they call that on the beak of the eagle, that little hole right there. My brother
nostril.
He's
and then the adjustment marks, and you can explain a lot.
Yes.
Adjustment marks are very common to these coins, and then also I think on the earlier coin, they also put the dates on. I think each number separately, so you'll see slight nuances. Like a lot of times you'll see this 9 looks a little high to me. And so that's just adds the uniqueness of these early 1700s, these early coins from the late 1700s, excuse me.
Yeah. So I'll take a moment here to explain a couple things about this coin, because I think this is a great educational opportunity. So one, this is actually on the holder referred to as a small date, large letters. And what that's referring to is, for one, the date of the coin is actually smaller characters compared to another set of characters used for a different die where the date was slightly larger, ever so larger. And I'm going to flash a picture of that up on the screen here so you guys can see what the large, variety would look like. The other thing then is that the fact that we have large letters. So as you can see, United States of America, this motto here is actually really quite large. Like the letters, the font of United States of America is actually quite large. There's also, I believe, a small letters variety of this where another die was used that had slightly smaller characters or smaller kind of font, basically. And the last thing I want to mention is about these adjustment marks, because somebody new to this might look at this and say, okay, well, this coin looks like it has some kind of like scratches or cleaning or something. That's not what that is whatsoever. This is actually marks that are in the planchet. So in the raw disc of metal that was used to stamp the coin, they would measure basically the weight of the planchet, and if the weight was a little bit too heavy, they would scrape off metal from that in order to bring the weight down to the appropriate level. So what you're seeing here are kind of like filing marks as they file down the planchet to the right a perfect amount of metal, and then they stamp the coin. Because unlike our coins today, which mostly just kind of have a symbolic kind of purpose, they're made of clad, they don't have any precious metal content. The value of these coins were purely based upon the amount of the metal and the purity of the metal that was in the coin, the purity of the silver that was in the coin, and the amount of silver that you would trade. And
these are rare than the 95s. There's only, I'm going to cheat and look at the 79,000 of them, and there's only 4 mint states known. And this is what's great now. Like I have this, this unbelievable coin, but I can tell you that it took, I think my first $1796 I was 22, and I bought, it may have been a 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I've traded up all this time. The coin I just sold at Heritage, and because I bought this, was a AU-58, a beautiful 58. I actually know who bought it, and I sold it because, again, I'd purchased this this last year. And so that's what we do in collecting, is it's the ability to move up. So
Sure.
I don't care how young you are, and I remember all the guys I talked to, like, oh, I'll never be able to do that. Oh, absolutely, you will be. It takes a lot of time, and again, just keep upgrading your coins.
Yeah. When I got started, I looked at a whole red book. And I saw every coin that was above $1,000, and I just said to myself, like, oh, that's never going to be realistic. I'm not going to buy $1,000 coins. But now, today, obviously, it's a whole completely different story. But I love the strike in this coin. I think that's one of the best qualities, I think, of this coin is actually the quality of the strike. I mean, how well struck this coin was on a screw press. Both sides, absolutely just really gorgeous. And that might also be because the way the planchet maybe was a little bit was maybe not a little bit heavy. They would have brought it down, but I think it's a fantastic coin. So this is the same design. We got a lot of color here, but this is a dime. So this is a 10 cent 1803 10 cents. This is MS64 CAC. This thing cannot be cheap.
No, it's not. It's well above 300,000.
Whoa. Okay.
And this is the only mint state coin known. In the 1803. So it's by far.
Wow.
You said select some coins, and I put this in because there's not the next. I'm looking at it right now. Again, cheating. There's a 64, and then there are only NGCs. And there are only a couple AUs known, so that's how rare it is. It's from the Barefoot original collection, and it's just an astonishing coin.
Yeah,
and you don't know the real story behind it. It's like, well, this shouldn't exist, and those coins that should not exist, where they all went into circulation, and the only thing you can know is maybe somebody from the mint or the mint director or some a politician that had access to the first coins. Actually, this was set aside and sat for 150 years, and that's the only explanation of why something like this would exist.
developed this incredible color to it. I do want to bring attention to the die breaks, which are really interesting. So this is going to be a later state of the die that was used to make the coins. After applying so much pressure to the same set of dies with press after press after press, eventually the dies start to crack, and that's what we see then in the actual coins that were made. As you start seeing evidence of those die breaks. Which is really cool. I love how this one kind of goes through the number 0 here. That's actually pretty awesome. But I love this eagle. It's very well struck. Again, I mean, there's a little bit of lightness here around the stars, which is pretty typical. But like you said, I'm guessing that you're probably going to have somebody call you from, after this video, if this video gets out or when it gets out, somebody who's a collector here of dimes that needs this for a registry set. This is going to be up their alley. I mean, this is going to take their registry set to the moon. So that's awesome. So this is really cool. I know there's a lot of people that are going to get excited about this because I'm not too sure. The right term is territorial gold, or it's pioneer gold, or it's early gold.
I think all three work.
Okay. This is from an early mint that produced gold coins before we had enough gold that would circulate, especially within the West. Now, this is called a wasp molitor, or a Voss molitor, I guess. And there's all these guys right now, I know they're watching this, that are from the pre-33 group that are just like shaking their heads. They're like, you loser, you don't know this stuff. But anyway, I just know it's happening right now. But anyways, John, I'll let you introduce this coin if you want.
Again, very rare. The small head wasp, and I can't take credit for running this coin down or cacked. I loved it. I bought it straight from Doug Winter.
Wow.
And
Okay.
Doug was the one that found the coin, had it, eventually had it cacked, and I actually fell in love with it, and I bought it from Doug at a show. So,
Okay.
Doug is a person that I defer to. I call him, on some of this. I think McCarthy. I think McCarthy is probably the guy, and then Doug Winter also next, and a bunch of this early go. I am not an expert, Tony, in territorials. It's not something that I did when I was young. I dealt and I deal in a lot of libs. This is something that I just thought as a collector was very cool. And again, it is impossible if you want, it's almost impossible to find these cacked in AU. And that's why I picked up, I picked up the coin. Again, you don't see them in this quality. And you can point out too, it's very normal. We talk about these early coins. If you looked over, on the rim there, it's very typical to see, a lot of dings, nicks in your rim. These were used. They were circulated heavily, and so they are what they are. And this is actually great. And you think about, this was not a U.S. Mint coin, so the quality is not what is not what you expect. And again, brought it up because I thought it's a very neat coin. People may want to see it, and but again, not necessarily what I specialize in, but what you carry as a high-end dealer.
Yeah, so much of this stuff, as you guys can see, I mean, where it says, where you might normally you'd be used to seeing United States of America here in the legend on the coin, we instead see San Francisco, California. So this was made by an assayer or by an office that was producing basically gold coins that would be able to be used for trade before there was enough actual gold coinage from the United States mints to supply the economy out in the Old West. And so much of this stuff has been melted down over the years. It's extremely rare. It's a numismatic miracle that this stuff even still, exists today. And Wasp Molitor and Company is the name here on the headband. They obviously mimicked or copied like the $20 double eagle from that was produced by the U.S. Mint, basically saying like, this is another version of it, or this is a privately made version of the same size and weight coin.
Did they do ingots? You're a big ingot guy. Do you? And you collect those, which I don't. Did they also do ingots?
This particular assayer, I would imagine they did, but I have never seen some off the top of my head. Again, right now there's like 13 guys scoffing under their breath that I don't know this, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. I'm a big San Francisco Mint, assay bar guy, and this early stuff, the 1800s stuff. It's big money is what it comes down to. So it's stuff that I haven't really dabbled in just yet. But
I think it's a good point too, Tony, that you cannot be an expert in everything, right? And
it's a slow process, yeah.
And, I've been looking at libs, for 50 some years, and I'm very comfortable in grading them. I've looked at hundreds of thousands, but these I have not. So the point is, we'll rely on experts, ourselves heavily, the guys that really are
Sure.
if somebody brings me something, a lot of times I will send them over. I'll send them over to Doug or somebody that I know is an expert in it. So we all have our wheelhouses we work in. I just know if I run across a rare silver ingot or something gold, I'm going to bring it over to you, because that's not something that I have a background in.
All right, so now we're going to kind of go very, very different, completely so on the other side of spectrum in some ways. This is a U.S. Mint product. This is a Carson City $50, 1873 Carson City $50. This coin is a PCGS MS67. Is this MS or is this is a Mint State?
No, 67. Yeah, this is a Mint State, and it is it's top pop. It's the finest. Yeah. It's the finest known
coin.
And again, something that shouldn't exist. The next there's 1 in 66. One in 65, and so it's a very rare error.
So this coin was made. It was set aside. It did not circulate. I mean, at all. I can honestly, I think, say that. And the coin just got booming luster. You can just see it here in this picture. Whenever you see like these streaks here of light, this is a good sign that this coin has just got incredible luster. I love to see this coin in Rosemont. If you have it, I would just love to see it in person.
Yeah,
I think this thing is.
No, it'll be there. Just it's again, coins shouldn't exist. And again, from Carson City, outside, one of the really rare ones. I think probably second favorite Carson City outside the 76 cc, which I have one of the finest examples of. We have it here right now, and we'll also have that 76 cc in. Also in Chicago.
Okay.
And why do we have to go all the way out to Rosemont? Can I complain about the drive? Why aren't we downtown Chicago?
Well, I mean, so there's just there's a great convention center right there, and it is got some awesome restaurants right near convention center. There's a great security because the hotel like connects to the convention center. So like I'm staying at the Hyatt Regency, you can just walk across. It's actually a really, really great place. And Rosemont, they host this at the Donald Stevens Convention Center. And this is usually where the World's Fair of Money is often. But thankfully, I was actually super psyched about how the Oklahoma City show wound up. I thought it was a great show. And but typically that show is up in Rosemont. So
Oklahoma City turned out to be a great dealer show. Yeah. It was a little, I think, it was a little difficult to get to for some individuals, but I enjoyed it. Had a great show there. And I have not been to Oklahoma City in about 25 years because I'm a Texas guy, and we tried to, went to the University of Texas, so I tried to stay out of Oklahoma City. We get beat up there back in the day.
Got it. Well, I had a really good time, and I thought the food was amazing. We have a conversation I had with Kenny about this, Kenny Duncan Jr., and it was a fantastic venue, I thought. So this coin, I remember you sending me a text message about this coin like a long while ago. This is an expensive coin. This is really rare, right? This is a AU55 CAC $5, 1875. How did you come across this coin? How did you get this?
This is a private sale. Came through back channels.
Okay.
The gold, specialty gold guys. Again,
Wow.
the 1875 $5 lib and 1875 $10 lib. Gold, holy grail of gold. There were only 200 of these made. I believe that this is second finest known. I think this is the only cacked. This is the only cacked cacked version of this grade. There's a 5/8 somewhere, and this is a cacked 55. Again, second finest known. Only, I think there's only 8. 8 AUs known. Total, but it is, again, this is one of those coins that I knew about when I was, 15 years old. This and the $10, and this is, what you said before. I don't think I'll ever own one. I never thought I'd own one of this, and unless I'm wrong, I think the 58 is in a museum, and this is the finest one in private hands right now. I could be wrong. So, maybe there's some guy out there I know with the 58 going, oh, wait a minute, and they'll correct me soon. But probably, again, one of my favorite coins.
So basically, this is a coin where you said there's only 200 made, or 300? Did you say?
200 originally. 200 originally struck.
And then we know about the estimate survival is how many total?
That's a very good question. And I wish what I don't like to do is, I've heard four different numbers, but let's just use the term handful. Handful. Because I just know myself right now, and I don't know how to solve it. But when we are doing crossovers and even report it, I'm not seeing these great coins. I'm not seeing them come down off of, when I go back and look at the records, I'm still seeing those coins sitting on the records that I cross. Yeah.
You are supposed to send in your labels after you've been submitting multiple times for the same coin. You're supposed to send those back over to PCGS so they can reduce the number to an accurate level of population. But it is one of the complicating factors, in this business, and with the population reports. So, super cool.
And part of what I'm trying to do is determine, for my own investing purposes, this is part of what I'm looking at, trying to determine what will be the next $1 million coin. What coin that's 100,000 now will be 300,000. I'm trying to get those. I'm trying to get those populations accurate. And conversely, the other thing could happen. Populations can grow out of nowhere. The South American coins that have been coming out, the gold. The Fairmount collection that I think everyone knows about, that Stacks.
Sure.
Stacks has been handling. Those have drastically changed the populations of certain years, and New Orleans coins, and those. I think there's some new information coming out. I think Doug Winter is trying to update and has done. I think if you look on his site, he's done a couple articles about what's been most affected. On double eagles
from Fairmont, for example.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where all of a sudden the population was 4 and now it's 10 in an AU 58. And so these are coins that came out of South America, appeared and now entered our population.
Yeah, because United States, all of our gold coins that we collect today, they were once circulating coins. And sometimes a lot of these coins have gone into other countries. There was a period of time I would explain to people, why is there gold coins in Europe? Why can you find so many gold coins, U.S. gold coins around the globe? There was a period of time that we had an arrangement called the Bretton Woods system. And in the Bretton Woods system, the United States dollar was the only currency that was convertible directly to gold. But every other currency that was part of the system, like the French franc or the Italian lira, they were all convertible into dollars, and they were all pegged to the U.S. dollar. So when Americans would go and spend U.S. dollars overseas, other central banks could present the U.S. dollars back to the United States and get gold for them. So we paid out a lot of gold, and because of that, a lot of U.S. coins, a lot of U.S. gold coins still exist in other countries. But yeah, there was a huge amount of coins, huge hoard of them that came out of South America that later then became known as the Fairmont collection. And we saw these come to market for a number of years. A lot of the populations and some really rare stuff kind of changed as a result of the entrance of that Fairmont. Right. But I do want to ask you, though, even at these high price points, where do you still see genuine value opportunities that collectors might be overlooking?
I think some of the most undervalued coins, and I'm collecting myself, I would say I think $10 libs are maybe some of the most undervalued coins out there. When you look at a population and rarity versus affordability, if you take, I'll give you some examples. Take a look at your 1968, 69, 1971, 73. Of course, this is your 75 is impossible to get, but 77. These are years where there's less than 1,000 coins made. Sometimes it's 800. If you're looking for, let's go down. Let's go down to like a $2,000, $3,000 coin. If you go and look at your population report, and you can get a year where maybe they had 3,000 coins made, and they might only know of 100 coins in the entire population left, and they're very affordable. That's where I think you're going to be, sure. Get an upside. And if you're going to look in my safe right now, I think, for example, your 1877, if some of these coins are $20,000, $30,000 or your next $100,000 coin. Gotcha. It's just, when you have a population, when you only have like eight U's known and one or two mint states, there's no way that coin is going down. And drastically undervalued because it doesn't make sense. And so that's what I'm doing for an investment standpoint. And again, I'm a finance guy. And from just a scarcity standpoint, when you take a look at that, I think that's where, whether you're looking to invest $3,000 or $50,000, that's where I think some tremendous upside is on some of your scarcer gold.
Before we get into the last couple of questions, I just wanted to touch on this coin real quick. So this is a 1876. This is a Carson City. This is a 20-cent piece. We don't see a whole lot of 20-cent pieces. This is an area that is consistently, they usually consistently bring strong values. The 20-cent piece only existed in our economy for a very short period of time. And I, off the top of my head, actually don't know the history on why or the time period, but it's a very short series of coins. This is Carson City. This is a 64 plus. This is a pretty monster coin, isn't it?
Yeah, it's $1 million coin. And basically, I think the population, I think there's only 8 known. And the story behind this one, Tony, is I think they were supposed to have made, if I'm right, it was a small amount made, and then there was a note not to release these and destroy them, and so they were remelted down, and so just a handful got out. Gotcha. And this is one of those, it's top 100 coin. Again, to me, I call them Holy Grail coins. And so it's interesting about this particular coin. This coin was originally a 64. My grader, myself, everyone else believes it's a 65 or better. And so we'll see where this ends up. What type of holder? It's still in process. Because I think there's a couple coins better. There's a 6.6, which may have a little bit better detail, but there are 2 6.5s above this. And I think when we look at the 2 6.5s, this has better detail. Yeah. Your argument against this coin is it's a little darker. And I actually, this is a whole nother, we could have a whole nother conversation about darker coins. To me, are getting a bad rap and getting undergraded because the pursuit of these lighter coins is really causing people, it's created this whole, it really causes people to start to mess with the coin and the originality.
Yeah.
And and so I think we're undergrading darker coins, and that's creating more people to again mess with
Try to
the
brighten up
coin.
coins. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a real, that's not good. That's a shame for sure. This is, I mean, when it comes to really rare coins that are high grade, this is actually how a silver coin should look, given the age. And yes, it does have this cloudiness here that is not the best eye appeal. It's probably not. If I wanted one example for a typeset, I may not choose this coin. But given the significance of the coin and the rarity at this particular grade, I don't see anything. I like the coin overall. I will say that darker coins are harder to grade. I mean, they sometimes maybe be undergraded because just in general, finding the imperfections that are in the field that might limit this coin are harder to do on a darkly toned coin overall. The other thing is super interesting is the doubling here.
The doubling, isn't it?
Extreme doubling. Yeah.
That's very cool. And I've never been a big fan of these coins because there's something, go up to her face.
Yeah.
There's just something that's always disturbed me about that,
Well, yeah, she looks like she is a character on a Star Trek series. Like this is not
exactly
a really attractive. Yeah. Now, if we go back to Lady Liberty here on the 27th, said this is an attractive Lady Liberty.
Yes.
This is she's got a lot going on here.
And what I didn't know is they had apparently had push-up bras in 1796.
I was thinking this whole time, how can I joke a little bit about this coin? This is a very impressive. The whoever made this die, was thirsty individual. Anyways, we'll move on. Move back to
may have been a more Puritan design.
Yeah, exactly. Hoping my mother's not watching up until this point. We'll see here. She does watch all my episodes.
So. I actually love that coin. That the 76cc has I found it as a purplish hue to it, and I'm more attracted to I'm more attracted to originality, and I guess there's been such a chase for luster.
Sure.
And ask your professional graders how much that they can add or delete due to luster on a coin, and you'll get some different answers. Very interesting. And so that's where we get into subjectivity on how much luster will add or detract from a coin. And I'm of the school where we may overcredit luster. And I vote for more originality. And and it'll be interesting how we'll handle AI. Grading eventually is going to go to a raw AI score, but how do you teach from somebody who's done a software, who's built a software company before? How are we going to teach AI? How are you going to program what is luster? How much weighted average margin of reflectivity are you going to use in there? Yeah. And I think we're going to end up, Tony, I would suggest that we're going to have a raw AI score that can objectively give you, this is a 6.5. And then I think we're still going to need human graders, and we'll give you a subjective score. I'm not going to live forever. John's not going to be around forever. What happens after CAC stickering? What happens the next couple of years? And it's not a question of if it's going to happen. It's a question of when and who will do it.
Yeah, I'm kind of mixed on this particular question. It's one of these things where, yes, we can apply, we might be able to get to the point where we can apply AI to coin grading, but then the question is, well, why are we doing it? Are we doing it in order to be able to process coins quicker? Are we doing it to be able to get to some more level of certainty about whatever the stated grade is about it? I think that will immediately take a little bit of the fun out of this hobby, which is the upgrade aspect. It is the subjectivity aspect to it. It's one of these things that as a society, we will have to wrestle with the question about how many things should we actually apply this technology to, as opposed to just, can we do things, can robots, make pizza or whatever. I'm sure that we'll get to the point where they can, but, isn't there some joy of actually, making a great pizza pie and serving it to people? Like humans will have to come to, they'll have to think about that one and figure out whether it really makes sense and it's really worth it. So I don't know. I'm kind of open on the subject. I'm excited to see where we're going to go with it, but I think it's a little too soon for me to predict exactly how it's going to affect everything. So
Yeah, I know there's some young guys out there working on it now. I think it will eventually bring more certainty to it.
yeah,
I'm not, and think about this. Um, we can get off the 70-point scale, go to something more like a 100-point scale that you're used to. You can
yeah,
also go to decimals. And if you think about,
yeah,
I don't think it'll take the excitement out, because now, like, I'm actually collecting, thinking of, this is going to be graded by AI. No matter what, no matter how this coin is graded, this is an upper echelon
yeah,
of this grade. And so that's how I'm thinking about it, because it's going to come sooner than you and I probably think.
hmm.
And then think about how many more coins now, if you're on a 100-point scale and now it's 0.123, what are you going to do? We're going to have to go out, we're going to get everything regraded. It's honestly a great business model. And then,
Sure.
if you make it analogous to, like, I remember guys saying, well, Apple's made a phone that's too good now. There's no reason why people are going to change. Well, by the time they perfect version AI 1 grading, guess what? They're going to come up with version 2.
Yeah,
And by the time, probably by the time I'm 80 years old, I'll be sending in coins again for that version, 4.0 AI.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so, I think there'll always be that arbitrage. There'll always be that hunt going on. So
yeah.
it'll be
Well,
interesting.
yeah, I think this is going to be a great topic we'll get a couple other big brain people onto a show. We'll do like a panel interview and we'll talk about a question like this one. I think it's a super interesting one to pick apart. Would love to know what you guys think out there. If you're watching this far, you got the comments below. I always look forward to reading the comments for every one of these episodes. Tell us what you think about, the future with AI and the application of AI to the coin business, how it's going to affect things. John, this has been great. I do want to give you an opportunity. How can people contact you? How can they reach out to you? Where can they find you today and Charleston Rare Coin?
Yeah, charlestonrarecoins.com. See, it's online, and you can leave us an email on there and a note. Leave your phone number. We got a great young grader, Hunter Hicks. He'll be at the show also. Reach out to him. And I would like to, we should have about a panel. We should get John. Albanese would be great to have on that panel. One of the principles of PCGS would be interesting to have. I'd be glad to reach out to those guys, and maybe, and also somebody from the auction houses, like somebody from Heritage or Kendrella over at Stacks. We should put that together and see what they have to say.
Yeah. I think you're going to be much better suited to probably make those introductions. At this point, they don't know me from the person selling them the hot dogs at the convention center. So, I think you're going to be would be awesome to help me out with that. But I'm excited about doing something like that for sure. To have John in the program would be amazing. I mean, there's so many great questions I could have him.
John is John's just a great guy. His down to earth has been he's been very kind to me. He heard about I'm doing a 501c. So one of my great goals is to do a museum for South Carolina numismatics currency. I've got a large South Carolina currency collection and important coins, numismatics to Charleston, and he found that out, and he sent down a very rare plate and gave me a plate where they would print currency from South Carolina. So John's been incredibly kind to me.
That's great.
I play him in chess daily. So really sharp guy, and we're lucky to have him in numismatics.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're doing a great job at this, and guys like you, who you have a real job,
not anymore. This is my career now.
You've gone the whole thing. You went ahead.
Yeah,
You went ahead and made the jump.
Yeah.
And if you did you say that? Did you do that on another podcast? Did you actually? Did you announce that?
I don't think so. I don't think I've mentioned it yet. This is probably the first time that I've actually said that I'm doing coins full time. I've been doing it part time for like the last 4 years. So but yeah. So
and you were you had very technical. You were very sharp. You were a very sharp guy. Was that engineering background?
No, a lot of. So many different things that I've done, but no, my last job was in data strategy and data science. So a lot of modeling and working with companies trying to solve operational problems using numbers and modeling and all of that type of fun stuff. So but the pull to numismatics has just been so great and so much more. And I apply that stuff, the methodologies and the techniques and so forth. I apply that to building my business now.
No, that's actually great to hear, and we need more individuals like you that focus on the numismatic side. And I think it's been a very tough business. I think when I look at the last 50 years, I'm very thrilled to hear stories like yours, because a lot of the mom and pop stores, where I bought this coin from, it ended up, unfortunately, these places have ended up having to buy scrap gold and silver and then do other things to make a living. And that takes away from some of the history of numismatics, just to stay in business. And you don't have, like, a lot of towns used to have your comic book coin store, and we've kind of lost that. But it's great to see a bunch of very sharp young individuals into, and I know you're not that. I know you're 40, but to me, you're younger than me, and I think really sharp individuals coming in, and a lot of 20-year-olds that run around the convention center. For example, Hunter was going to Stanford, and he's finishing right now over in Virginia. And he's young numitist and just has a passion for it, and it's great. It's great to see.
Well, hey, man, thank you so much, John. This has been great. I appreciate you doing this podcast for sure. I will see you in Rosemont. Hopefully we get a chance to do some dinner together or something like that. That would be wonderful. And I look forward to seeing your whole crew again. So it's been great.
I appreciate what you're doing here on the podcast, and provide some information. And you're much better doing this than I would be. This is not my. I'd rather.
You're great.
I'd rather hang out here and study my little coins here and crack some coins and do some nonsense.
So, well, you were a great guest. Thank you so much for bringing those great, awesome coins. So, all right, man, I will talk to you later.
Take care.
And I'll see you. All right, see you.